The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has urged the federal government to diversify the use of petroleum to compress natural gas, CNG, in the country. The group made the call in Abuja during an investigative hearing of the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on Petroleum Price Increase. President of the association, Chinedu Okoronko, emphasized the need for federal government to build domestic gas market so as to reduce the effect of subsidy removal on Nigerians, create more jobs, and generate revenue for the nation. He suggested that Nigeria should quickly go for CNG, hence switching to natural gas is more profitable, sustainable, and attracts investments. The chairman of the ad hoc committee, Babajimi Benson, expressed satisfaction that IPMAN believes in the spirit and content of the Petroleum Industry Act, PRA, which allows the deregulation of the petroleum sector, brought about in a suggestion that the compressed natural gas is an alternative to reducing the hardship posed on Nigerians over the removal of subsidy.
So the other advantage that IPMAN platform poses is almost every IPMAN station can serve as a conversion center. So even if they were just converting 2 vehicles a day, they could convert 60,000 vehicles in one day, right? And if, Chairman, you are to visit Benin with your committee and visit any of the 11 NIPCO stations that has been selling CNG since 2007 and interview some of the vehicles or keke that run on gas in Benin and ask them if they are happy with CNG, they will tell you they've never had gas scarcity. We've had 1 million fuel scarcity, but they have never once experienced gas scarcity. 2, they'll probably tell you they've had nothing to do with petrol as much as they can help it. Number 3, when you ask them why isn't everyone using it, the number 1 question, sir, which is why we wrote to CBN, is they don't have money to convert.
But the good thing is that they also brought a suggestion that is CNG, and they gave us examples and jurisdictions where CNG is working very well. They also gave us suggestion that they have over 30,000 filling stations that can co-share CNG platforms or infrastructure. To me, that's good news. They also let us understand that CNG in the long run and in the short run is cheaper than using petrol.
You see a country God have blessed with megatons, billions of cups of this natural gas. We are not telling them, look, we cannot get this petroleum product again, this PMS AGO the way it was. But God have also given us another chance to be happy and smile. We in IPMAN have tagged it good news to Nigeria. By the time we deploy this compressed natural gas, not only will it work in our cars, it will work in generators, it will also work in your small generator, even in cooking. So,
Osun State Police Command has emphasized that any individual or persons arrested for indulging in fake self-kidnap will henceforth be made to face appropriate prosecution. The command says the untoward act of self-kidnap is becoming rampant, emphasizing that perpetrators in the state will no longer have a field day, but will rather be made to face the full wrath of law. The State Police Commissioner, represented by the State Force PRO, Yemisi Opalola, sent the strong signal while parading suspects for various offenses at the State Police Headquarters in Osogbo. Among those paraded were suspected car snatchers and armed robbers, including others who were arrested for involvement in secret cult activities in Ilesha, Axis, and other areas in the state, as well as one who impersonates as a military officer. Items recovered by the police from the suspects include 2 automobile vehicles, cutlasses, military uniform, live bullets, among others.
Those people that used to fake being kidnapped, I want to reiterate that anyone that is caught again are going to be charged to court and they will face the wrath of law.
Around 4 a.m. So as I pick my load, I'm coming, and I saw a guy that burst into a room, and I said that, and I see one place that on lights, and I said, hello, see someone have entered here, and I said, okay, we are the one that we should wear yellow to come and scatter this hostel. I said, yellow to come and scatter this hostel. This is this bag I come to pick. That is why they started checking the bag, started dragging me. That's what we know.
Entered into the church. It was inside the church that they made the gunshot. Even you see the proof inside the church, because all the tarpaulins and even the roof, they shot at the roof and also the tarpaulins. So they entered the church before the shoot.
Nigeria's housing deficit may continue to rise unless the government urgently and quickly intervenes in the increasing rate of cost of building materials, which have posed a serious challenge to the efforts geared towards affordable housing in the country. Similarly, the poor have continued to suffer from the adverse effects of housing challenges in Nigeria, as housing projects appears not affordable to the middle and low-income classes due to factors mitigating against affordable housing. This assertion was highlighted at a media interaction by the Properties and Environment Writers Association of Nigeria with a stakeholder in the building construction industry, Legrand Properties Development in Lagos. Deacon Babajide Durojaye of Legrand said the Lagos state government needs to take proactive measures in preventing some prospective house owners from being pushed out of Lagos due to high cost of building a house project.
The low-income group, like I said, should not be allowed to push out of Lagos State. By the year 2030, if care is not taken, most of the poor will be living somewhere in Epe or somewhere in Ogun State. They'll be working from Badagry. None of them will be in Ikeja because they will not be able to afford it. The second one is that government should quickly intervene into the cost of building materials.
However, the paucity of credit to the real estate and construction sector has seen a growth in housing deficiency, double than that of the population between 1991 and 2023. At an estimated population of 98 million in 1991, the country's population grew to 242 million projected in 2023.
My job is more of advocacy between the business community, government and her agencies to make for a favorable business environment that will make for economic prosperity of the nation as a whole. Our job today is to listen and to ask questions and to let the government hear how their policies are affecting you positively or otherwise. You know, when you give your speech, my colleagues will ask questions.
The Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Teaching Service Commission, TESCOM, Olubusola Obidakun, has again emphasized that the purported recruitment portal of the Commission currently being circulated is fake and is attributed to mischief makers who have continued to misinform the public on recruitment of teachers into the state teaching service. She declared, and I quote, "It has just come to the attention of the Lagos State Teaching Service Commission that the Commission is presently requesting some categories of graduates to apply for Lagos State teaching job via a link," end of quote. In a statement by the Deputy Director, Public Affairs of TESCOM, Kayode Sutton, she stated unequivocally that the said recruitment exercise was fake and did not emanate from the Lagos State TESCOM. While enjoining the public to disregard this mischievous statement, she assured that the Commission will make official announcements where and when necessary in this regard. After several decades of oil and gas exploitation activities in the Niger Delta, hope for the restoration of communities' degraded ecosystem remains largely a mirage, as the need for communities to have effective ecological monitoring skills led to the hosting of a training program to that end. Health of Mother Earth Foundation organized monitoring training for Kono and Dick Fiberesima Ama, both in Rivers State, Nigeria. The executive director of HOMEF, Nemo Basi, while addressing community members, charged them to be eco-defenders and good monitors. Basi further stated that having community members protect their environment, like in the case of Kono, confirmed that communities were the best eco-defenders because they have deep knowledge of their territories and derive direct benefits from their environment. Up next are stories from the foreign scene. Please stay with us. Welcome back. French Foreign Ministry says on Saturday that France will support efforts by the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS to make the military coup in Niger fail. French Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna met with Niger Prime Minister Ahmadou Mahamadou and the Niger ambassador in Paris on Saturday. Earlier, Colonna said the coup leaders in Niamey had until Sunday to hand back power. Otherwise, a threat by member countries of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to stage a military intervention had to be taken very seriously. France did not specify on Saturday whether its backing would entail military support for an ECOWAS intervention in Niger.
The chiefs of defense staff and their teams have worked round the clock to come up with a concept of operation for an eventual military intervention in the Republic of Niger to restore constitutional order, to ensure the release of the detained president. All the elements that would go into any eventual intervention have been worked out here and being refined.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been given 3-year jail sentence over corruption allegations after a court in Islamabad found him guilty of not declaring money he had earned from selling state gifts. He denies the charges and says he will appeal, but after the verdict, Khan was taken into custody from his home in Lahore. Khan was elected in 2018 but was ousted in a no-confidence vote last year after falling out with a powerful military. The court also imposed a fine of 100,000 rupees, which is $451. As the court decision was announced, a crowd, which included some prosecuting lawyers, began chanting, "Imran Khan is a thief," outside the building. Saudi Arabia has kicked off a weekend summit in Jeddah in which senior officials from some 40 countries, but not Russia, will aim to draft key principles on how to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday welcomed the wide range of countries represented in the talks that began on Saturday, including developing countries hit hard by the surge in food prices triggered by the war. Russia last month halted its participation in a United Nations brokered grain deal that enabled the shipment of Ukrainian produce through the Black Sea to parts of the world struggling with hunger. Zelensky said he hoped the initiative will lead to a peace summit of world leaders this autumn to endorse the principles which he believed would be based on Kyiv's 10-point formula for a settlement. We'll take a break to bring you sports news. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Spain crushed Switzerland 5-1 to reach the Women's World Cup quarterfinals for the first time in their history on Saturday, with Japan and Norway doing battle to join them. Aitana Bonmati played a starring role with a brace and 2 assists in front of 43,217 fans at Eden Park in Auckland, a record crowd for a football match in New Zealand. Bonmati's early opener in the last 16 tie in Auckland was cancelled out by a spectacular own goal from Leah Codina, but Alba Romero of Spain's lead and Bonmati scored again to make it 3-1. Codina then made up for her error by getting her team's 4th before the interval, and Jennifer Hermoso made it 5-1 in the second half. In another result, Japan took a step closer to a second Women's World Cup title when they beat Norway 3-1 to reach the quarterfinals where they will slug it out with Spain. The 2011 champions made the ideal start when Norway defender Ingrid Engen turned Hinata Miyazawa's cross into her own net. However, Norway equalized a few minutes later when Guro Riten headed home. Risa Shimizu's heavily deflected strike restored Japan's lead before Hinata Miyazawa raced through to score a third and seal her side's progress. The goal kept Miyazawa on target for the Golden Boot as she leads the scoring charts on 5. Away from the Women's World Cup, Manchester City have completed the signing of Croatia's centre-back Josko Vadio on a 5-year deal from RB Leipzig for 77 million euros following his impressive performance in his 2 seasons at Leipzig after joining from Dynamo Zagreb in July 2021. He's the second most expensive defender of all time after Harry Maguire, who joined Manchester United for 80 million euros from Leicester City in 2019. The 21-year-old, who will wear the number 24 shirt, has impressed in his 2 seasons at Leipzig after joining from Dynamo Zagreb in July 2021. And in boxing, Dillian White has returned an adverse finding from a doping test, causing his heavyweight rematch against Anthony Joshua on 12th August to be cancelled. The Voluntary Anti-Doping Association informed promoters, Matchroom, and boxing authorities of the test result. Joshua could still fight at London's O2 Arena if a new opponent can be found. The fight between Joshua and White, a rematch of the 2015 bout, which Joshua won, was announced a month ago. And that's the news on MITV, but we'll take a recap of the top stories. We told you that the Senate has rejected Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Niger. Also that INEC says it has learned lessons with the 2023 general elections. From the foreign scene, we told you that ex-Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been jailed for 2 years over corruption allegation. And in sports, Japan has confronted Spain in quarterfinal of Women's World Cup. Thanks for watching. I am Jumoke Michaels. Good night.